Hey, you action figure enthusiasts out there, JC here with another T&I toy review. And for today's review, I'm going to be taking a look at the brand new Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified 6-inch Deluxe Snake Eye set with Timber. Now, starting with the packaging, it's your pretty basic standardized classified packaging. You've got the window box with the figure, both Snake Eyes and Timber, clearly displayed, along with all the accessories. Down at the bottom, you've got the G.I. Joe Classified line, and it tells us this is the Snake Eyes and Timber Alpha Commandos set. You've got some artwork over here on the left side with Snake Eyes, and you've just, for the coloring on the packaging, this one is done in blue. Now, on one side, you've got more artwork for Snake Eyes, and then on the other side, you've got those symbols, and it tells us this is figure number 30 in the series. And then on the back of the packaging, we've got that poster art like we always see with the regular release figures. And this one features all the released figures up to date, including the Target store exclusives, as well as those Alley Vipers, which have been featured in every packaging art since the line began, but are the only figures that Hasbro's yet to officially announce is coming. All right, so let's get this open and take a look at what's inside. So here's a look at the figures outside the packaging along with the accessories. Okay, so for weapons that come with this figure, because it is essentially an online exclusive, Hasbro was able to give us realistic looking weapons. So like we saw with the very first Hasbro Pulse Snake Eyes figure, we do get his traditional Uzi. I believe this is the same Uzi that we got with that Hasbro Pulse version. And it's done with just a solid black plastic. You've got some nice detailing. You've got the magazine. It is not removable. And then you've got the long stem here, which actually allows you to attach a silencer. This is again something that we saw with the Hasbro Pulse Snake Eyes. So you just slide that silencer on there. So if Snake Eyes wants to go covert, he can definitely do that. So that's definitely a nice added touch. Again, both of these I believe came with the very first Snake Eyes that we got. And then we get a pistol as well. And this is another weapon that I believe came with the Hasbro Pulse version. And this one, you can also take that silencer and attach it. So you can attach it to both the Uzi and the pistol, which is nice. And these are all these weapons are done with just a solid black plastic. So not a whole lot of paint detail, but you do get pretty nice sculpting. This one, again, has a magazine sticking out the bottom, but it is not removable. You then get a couple of rifles, which I don't think came with the Hasbro Pulse exclusive version. Forgive me, I don't know the official name for these weapons, but they do look realistic. Now this one has a magazine that you can actually pull out and put in, so that's cool. And then you get a second rifle, which again, you can pull the magazine out, and again, done with a solid black plastic. Now, one thing I want to note with both of the rifles, it looks like they've left a place here for if you have like any kind of blasting effects, you can probably squeeze it into the barrel. So even though they did not include any like shooting blasting effects with these weapons, it looks like they've given you the ability to add them if you have your own. And just to give you an example, I've attached a smoking effect that I grabbed off my Hasbro Marvel Legend War Machine figure. So, with this one, you can make it look like the gun is just fired and smoke is coming out of the barrel. Now, the final weapon accessory that you get with this one is a knife. And with this one, they've used a dark metallic silver for the blade. I do like the sculpting detail on the blade as well. I'm not sure if this is something that came with one of the previous Snake Eyes figures, but definitely the detailing is nice. And I like that they didn't just do like a black blade. You do have the solid black on the handle. But again, you have some nice sculpting detail for the grip. And then the final accessory in this set goes to the Timber figure. They've given you two different head sculpts. So you get this one that's attached, which looks like, more of his casual look. He's got his mouth closed. You can't see any of his teeth. You do have nice detailing, and he's got these scars on his nose and over his eye. So that looks nice, and I do like the paint detailing. I like the way the eyeballs kind of glisten in the light, like you would see with an actual wolf. So I think they've done a really good job with that. You've got some really nice paint detail and throughout the figure, and we'll take a closer look at the entire figure in a minute. But again, with this first head sculpt, I think they've done a pretty good job. And then what you do is you just, like you would with any figure, You just pop it off there. The head's attached with just a standard type ball joint that sticks out, and then you take the alternate head and you just pop it into place. Now that little neck joint will move around on you a little bit, but if you push it in good, it should stay on there nice and tight. Now for the second head sculpt, this one looks a little more vicious. It looks like Timber's about to go on the attack. His mouth is open. You can see his fangs. The teeth are individually sculpted in his mouth, which look nice. The mouth is not articulated, so that's why they've given you the two different head sculpts. Almost seems like they could have just made the mouth articulated instead of giving you the two head sculpts, but I think this definitely works. Again, you have nice detailing with the eyes and the paint applications, but with this one, it looks like Timber's about to rip off the arm of one of the Cobra soldiers that's on the attack. Now for Timber himself, we'll go on and take a look at the actual Timber figure since we've got him here. And I think Hasbro has done a top-notch job. They've really made him well articulated. They could have just given us a static, figurine of a wolf, and that probably would have worked for most people. But again, with this one, they actually went the extra mile and gave him some really nice detailed articulation, besides just the two head sculpts, which both look good. I really like the paint detail throughout this figure. You've got some brown colors on the legs, and then you've got the gray, and it gets darker towards the top, and the fur is kind of sticking up here on the top, and it's nicely sculpted, so it looks like actual fur. And then down towards the bottom of the feet, you've got more of a whitish type color, and same on the bottom there. So, throughout the entire figure, they've really just done a nice job with the paint applications on this one. I even like on the bottom of the feet that they've included pads. So that's a nice extra touch. Of course, they also has the claws. So, overall, they've just done a really nice job with this figure. It took them a while to give us Timber, but when they finally did, I think they did the figure justice. So for the articulation on the figure, so with the head sculpt, he can look down and then he can look straight ahead. You can rotate the head all the way around if you want. You can move the head to the left and right. So he has a really nice range of movement with the head. Then with the back tail, you get some articulation, so you can rotate the tail and you can do it up and down or left and right. It's just attached with a ball hinge type joint. Then with the legs, so the legs here, he can do the legs out a little bit. That's about as far out as you can do the legs. He can actually get the hind legs up a little bit. Well, actually, the legs themselves don't go out too much, but because they've given you this rotation joint on the back, you can kind of make it look like he's lifting his leg to take a pee or something, like you would see with a dog or such. So that's kind of funny. He's also got these knee joints, so on the back legs, so he can bend his knee pretty good. And then you also get joints on the lower legs, which allow you to do the lower legs forward. You really can't do the legs back. You can only do them straight. And then you also get some ankle joints. So he's got hinges there, so he can do the foots up and down. You even get rotation and some pivot there. So, and then on the front legs, again, you have the knee type joint, which gives you rotation. And with that one, you're really made to go forward, not really back. You can do it down straight. And then same with the lower leg joint. You don't get rotation on the lower leg joints, but then again with the feet, you do have the good articulation. So, and then up here again, you've got the midsection, so you can do the midsection body, left and right, up and down a little bit. And then you also up here at the top, you've got some, it's a joint. You don't get a whole lot of movement because of the way the fur is sculpted, but you get some rotation there. So like I said, they could have just given us a static like wolf figurine, but instead they really did give us a highly articulated and detailed Timber. Okay, now for the Snake Eyes figure. So this is based on the original Snake Eyes, the commando look before he went more ninja-like. So this was the outfit that he was wearing, essentially, or a very similar look. I won't say it's exact, but very similar to the outfit he was wearing in the original G.I. Joe miniseries, cartoon series. Also, what he first started wearing in the comics. So big difference here is with the head sculpt. He's got the goggles as opposed to the visor, and they've done it with a shiny black plastic, so the lenses kind of stand out, which is nice. You've got sculpting detail with the straps. You've got some sculpting detail with these little slits, so he can breathe through the mask, which looks pretty good. So definitely, I think they've done a good job with the head sculpt. The web gear is different from the regular release or the Ninja version. This has more of a military feel to it. You know, the web gear, like on all the G.I. Joe figures, is a separate piece, though it doesn't look like it's really made to be removed. You would have to cut it off, I believe. You've got essentially all these pouches and stuff. You've got belt clips and things like that nicely sculpted. It is done with just a solid black color. He's got this one grenade, which has got the G.I. Joe symbol on it, which I think is kind of funny. It's not removable. The grenade is done with a shinier black plastic than the rest of the vest, so it does stand out a little bit on the figure. And you have nice detailing on the back as well. So, you know, and again, this is different web gear than what we saw with the previous Snake Eyes, which, you know, was more in keeping with that ninja look. So that's different. He has the holster on the right leg that holds the pistol and the silencer. Now this is the same holster, I believe, as what we saw on the previous Snake Eyes, the regular Ninja version. You also on the left leg get a knife sheath. Now this one's different from the regular figure. It is bigger, different shaped. And the knife that comes with this new figure is bigger and, you know, again, more detailed than the previous one that we got with the regular release. So I like that. He's got the knee pads. So you got a little bit shinier plastic on the knee pads. He's got the shin guards on the boots. And then up here on the arms, you've got some additional sculpting details. So it looks more like a cloth type material. We saw them do the same thing with like the Beachhead figure. You've got the pouches sculpted up here on the upper shoulder on both sides. And then the gloves are done with a little bit shinier plastic to go along with like the boots and things like that. Now, one thing to note, they did not include any type of backpack. Again, this is before he started using the sword and stuff. But if you wanted to take the backpack and sword from the original regular release Snake Eyes, you do still have a hole on the back of this figure. So you can stick that backpack in there. So if you would like to give your Commando Snake Eyes still kind of a ninja look with the sword, you can actually, you know, still do that with this figure. Okay, so this figure stands right about 6¼ inches tall, maybe a hair taller than that, but I would say pretty close to 6¼ inches tall. And here's a comparison of the two Snake Eyes, the Ninja regular release Snake Eyes, and then this new deluxe version. I do not have the Hasbro Pulse one, so I can't give you a comparison of that one. But you can see with the regular release one, you know, it's got a lot more shinier, glossy black paint to it, as opposed to the more matted, subdued black with this new figure. Now for Timber measures right about 6 inches if you count from the back of his tail to the tip of his nose. Maybe a little bit over 6 inches, but pretty close to 6 inches in width. And then height at his highest point comes up to right about 3¼ inches, maybe a little bit taller than that, but pretty close to 3¼ inches at his highest point. And then here's a comparison of the Ninja regular Snake Eyes figure along with the Timber figure. Again, if you collected the original toy line, you know Timber came with essentially this version of Snake Eyes. But in the cartoon, we got, you know, Snake Eyes first encountered Timber wearing the more commando look. And here's a comparison of the new Snake Eyes figure with Scarlet. This is the original Scarlet. I have not gotten the repainted version that they've released, but you can see that Snake Eyes is taller, as he should be. Here's a comparison with the Arctic Storm Shadow figure, which at this time is the only Storm Shadow that we've gotten in the line. Here's a comparison with the Duke figure, and Duke and Snake Eyes here are about the same height. Here's a comparison with the Cobra Soldier, Cobra Viper, and just for one more, the recent Cobra Island Major Blood figure. Okay, now I've already shown you the articulation for the Timber figure in this set, so now let's go over it with Snake Eyes. So first of all, he can turn his head to the left and to the right. You can rotate the head all the way around. He can look down really good, and he can look up pretty good as well, so you get really good head movement. The entire neck moves with the figure, and then you've got a joint here on the top of the neck. So again, you get really good head movement, which is nice. You can get the arm out pretty good there, and you've got rotation there. You do have that inner kind of butterfly joint on this one, so you get that back and forth movement there at the shoulder. He's got a bicep swivel. He's got double hinged elbows. Now I will say that the plastic on the elbow joints is a little bit soft, so a little bit gummy there, not too bad, but a little bit soft. And then you also get rotation with the hands, and then you've got the hinges on the hands with this one. So you've got here on the top and bottom for that kind of up and down movement, and then on this hand it is in the standard place, so you get the standard up and down movement on the right hand. Now he does, I believe, have maybe, I can't really tell if he's got some type of ab crunch because he's got the web gear that completely covers the figure. So even if he does have that, it's not going to do you any good. You've got rotation here at the waist, so you can rotate and you can pivot a little bit to the left and the right. The legs, do come down a little bit from the waist section, so you can get the leg up high good, and you can do the leg out and back. You do get a thigh swivel with these. They're hidden by the holster straps, but you do get the thigh swivels, and then you also get the double hinged knees. So you do still have, you can see pins on this figure, so they haven't moved over to the pinless technology with this one. You get a boot cuff swivel, and then with the feet you get the hinges, so up and down movement, and you do get ankle pivot. And 2 peg holes on the bottom of the feet. Okay, so that's my review. And overall, I think this is a pretty nice set, especially if you're a fan of Snake Eyes' original look, the more Commando-like look. I think this is one you're going to want to check out. Really, the star of the set is actually Timber. While the Snake Eyes figure isn't bad, the Timber figure is really just gorgeous. The paint applications are nicely detailed, sculpting detail, the 2 different head sculpts, really nice articulation. It took them a while to finally give us Timber, but when they did, they really did him justice. They could have just given us the static figure, and I'm really glad that they didn't. So even if you really don't care about the Commando look for Snake Eyes, you might want to check this one out just for Timber. Now, this is an online exclusive. It's a fan channel exclusive. It is available at places like our sponsor, Big Bad Toy Store. They started getting these in stock last week, and I just got mine this week in the mail, so very happy about that. I think it started shipping sooner than people expected. So if you pre-ordered it when it was first announced, then you'll probably be getting it in the mail if you haven't already very soon. Now, I'd really love to hear your thoughts about the figure in the comments section below. And if you're so inclined, please like the video. If you haven't already, please think about subscribing to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. You can also hit that bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. As always, guys, stay safe out there, and until next time, I'll catch you later.
Hey, thanks for watching today's video, and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. And be sure to head over to the Toy News International and Marvelous News Message Boards communities. It's a great place to talk toys and win cool contests like $100 store credits to Big Bad Toy Store. And remember, action figures are great.